I usually get a phone call, and during that phone call, I ask all the appropriate questions that give me a really good understanding of what the client specifically is looking for. And once we go over a series of questions and answers, then at that point I can determine how many sessions I feel would be necessary to accomplish those goals. Because I go to the client's home, and I do encourage all the family members to get involved, therefore I customize the training specifically for that environment and for their needs. So the sessions really do vary. So how have things been going with Bailey?
It's good. I think it's still a little bit of a challenge. I'm trying to get the exercise in there, get the exercise going, because sometimes she still has so much energy during that walk that she just forgets that what we've been working on, and she'll go crazy.
What I deal with mostly are animal lovers, and that's great, but that doesn't relate well into a good leadership and a good relationship a lot of times with our dogs. So for me, it's about bringing the animal lover and a pack leader together, and once we do that, then we become very successful dog owners. And our dogs take good direction from us at that point if we relate as a good leader. I see you've got the prong collar. How's that working out for you?
That's good. Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the biggest challenge that I have with these is that us humans are visual creatures. And so we see something like this and we're immediately opposed. But just like anything in life, having the proper tool is crucial to being successful. So what I always like to share is, first of all, they're flat, the prongs. The neck is mostly muscle and meat. And just like anything, if you use it responsibly, then we're gonna be responsible dog owners. But I always like to show everybody our hands are one of the most boniest parts on our body. There is no meat. And this is way harder than I would ever pull on a dog. And to be able to do that on my bony hands and not have any consequence, I think that speaks volumes. So please don't be deterred by such a fabulous tool that mimics nature just because of the way it looks. Using it responsibly, that's the key to using it appropriately.
Okay.
So being that we bring dogs into our human world, we need to become their alpha female or their alpha male or both by showing them leadership and guidance and structure, rules, boundaries. Once we do so, it actually brings a lot of relief to our dogs because they can just be animal. They can just be our pet because they have an understanding, a clear understanding of what their role is. But if we constantly put them at the top of the pecking order, it gets a little confusing because then they feel like they need to make the decisions. They need to start making choices. Stuff like maybe being possessive over food. Child goes near the food bowl or even the adult and they growl, they get very stiff, they hover, and it usually starts out slow. It starts out by stiffness. Maybe people don't notice that. Then it turns into a subtle growl. Then it turns into a snap, and it never gets better, it always gets worse. It eventually leads to, sometimes in my experience, going to the pound, going to the shelter, being given up on because now they become dangerous. So again, having a really good foundation of understanding how to be a good pack leader is one of the first things I do on the first session. As I open the door, I want to lead the dog out. So I'm not going to allow her to go ahead of me, and you've obviously done a great job already of teaching that. So as I approach the door, I remind her, and she already knows, to wait, be patient. And early on in training, this is more of an exaggerated exercise until you see what you get, which is right here, patience. And then I lead the dog out. I've had clients hire me before the puppy even comes home. So now we talk about potty training, chewing, biting, jumping. And again, we establish that really good foundation. And so now they bring the puppy home and we do our second session and we get going on those things. And that really prevents a lot of issues. You're not replacing furniture, you're not replacing carpet, and a lot of people are dismissive of it. Oh, it's just puppy issues. It's really not. These are behaviors that need to be taught the right way and give the right direction. People will adopt dogs older, and There may be issues that come with that dog. So it's never too late to start training, but the best suggestion would be right when that dog comes home, whether it be 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years. When I deal with behavioral issues, the common denominator is the dog is not receiving enough physical and mental stimulation. And with that, they have to put their energy into somewhere, and then it typically gets put into negative behaviors. It could be as simple as excessive barking, excessive digging. It could be bolting out of the front door, but it's very important if I can teach dog owners to do that, whether it may be going for a nice long walk, biking, jogging. I have clients that are older that obtain young dogs and they're in golf club communities and they have access to a golf cart. You know, whatever we need to do, it really can intercept a lot of behavioral problems. Forward. Good, just like that. First thing I like to do is just walk with the dog and the bike, making sure that the dog is comfortable with this new apparatus next to her. Look, as you can see, she's not even concerned about it. Sometimes dogs like to bite the wheels, they like to try to chase it. So once I see that the dog is pretty comfortable and confident, then the next step would be to hop on. Now, it's so important to hold the leash properly. Making sure that no part of the leash at any point would ever be able to get into the spokes. We want to give her a nice comfort level with the length of the leash, but we also don't want her to have enough freedom to be able to run in front of the bike or behind the bike. So it's a little trial and error at first. Sometimes I go a little shorter just initially, and then I just get on and go and figure out the dog so I can help the clients. So we just start out, little walk. Oh, she's looking really happy. And then we build up to a trot. And off we go. You remind her with a correction that you're in charge.
You're right.
You let her know. Good. Very good. So what we're gonna do, as you start getting comfortable, we're gonna practice coming to a stop.